Things never seem to go as planned during gatherings in Genoa City. If there's one thing we've learned, things on Young and Restless tend to get a little out of hand anytime the characters get dressed up and have somewhere to go, whether it's a wedding that gets derailed because everyone wants to speak out and nobody ever holds their peace, or secrets that come to light at the worst possible time. So it's not shocking that Nikki and Victor's big do will be the scene of major drama, complete with the appearance of a blast from the past. Lena Love. Actress Barbara Crampton says, "I get to crash the party laughing." She's determined to find a major scoop, so she's just nosing about. Lena has been around since 1987, but just in case you forgot, at the time the protagonist was fixated with ex-psychiatrist turned Ashley Abbott lover Stephen Lasseter. Lena went through a transformation that turned her into a slay fox over time. The chapter she wrote about Victor Newman's romance with Ashley and its nasty consequences in his autobiography Ruthless is what most people remember her for. Crampton scoffs at Lena's actions because, as usual, she's trying to cause trouble. In the meantime, returning to the set after a hiatus of 7 years was an unsettling experience. "I felt kind of like the cliché deer in the headlights," she says. "It was baffling because in some ways I was a new person, and yet there were other old parts. Some of the colleagues I had worked with years before were there as well." As Lena entered the picture, the first person I had scenes with was Peter Bergman, Jack, which was great since he's a known quantity. The shining example of the eternally restless Youth Awards season gowns, Sharon Case's greatest looks. Lena and her ex-husband Victor had to go through that crossing. Crampton explains, "We worked together my second day on the site." In addition to her apprehension about working with Eric Braeden, she said, "Why? He told me, Victor hasn't seen Lena in a long time, right before we started shooting. I'm familiar with the text on this page, but I reserve the right to change my mind." And he did make some impromptu comments that I was able to play off of, to make the scenes more interesting and entertaining. Returning to the spotlight in front of the camera was one pressure Crampton didn't need to worry about. For the most part, this is because she hasn't slowed down one bit since leaving Young and Restless. The veteran soap star who has also appeared on Bold and Beautiful as Maggie, Guiding Light as Mindy, and Days of Our Lives as Trista, has become recognized for her work in the horror genre. She does request that no one ever call her a scream queen, however. This is something she acknowledges I find kind of reductive. To reduce that to an act by labeling them a scream queen doesn't really convey what they go through or the courage they portray. The origins of the woman in peril stories are very deep and literate. The term "last girls" better describes them. She finally discovers her identity and her voice. What's next for the occupied actress? Appropriate Flesh, a suspense film currently in post-production with no set release date. She gives us a sneak peek by saying, "It's about an entity that travels across time to take over the bodies of different individuals. It was inspired by a tale by H.P. Lovecraft. Some of my previous works were inspired by his, including Reanimator and From Beyond, so I feel like I'm coming full circle with this one." If we're on the topic of coming back, would she think about settling down in Genoa City again? She shrugs. "I never say never, even if her schedule is still very jam-packed. I'm not sure if I could keep this up for very long, but I'd love to return for more than a few episodes."